The world's finest young super team of Jonathan Kent and Damian Wayne are back again in Challenge of the Super Sons, a brand new digital comic from DC. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into issue 1 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so the first question I'm sure tons of people watching this video are wondering right now, is this story actually in continuity? And the answer is yes, but also no. This new digital series is indeed written by Peter Tomasi, the man behind everything you enjoyed about Super Sons, and in fact, we get a little wraparound story to the main story involving two young children, who we had previously actually seen before in the pages of Adventures of the Super Sons, getting read a story by their grandparents, who may actually be John and Damian all grown up. It's hard to tell. What we know for certain, though, is they pull another Super Sons book off the shelf, of which there are many, I should add, and they dig into another story from the past of John and Damian. When does this story take place? Was it before or after John went to the future? Was it before or after Damian decided he was going to become a little psychopath again? Who can say for sure, and ultimately it's not very important. As we join John and Damian, they're staying late at school. Superboy is trying to write up a major article that he thinks will finally get him on the school newspaper. He decided to crack open a big case involving a cheating scandal. Of course, Damian is sitting there bored because he cracked the case hours ago, what with being a pretty damn great detective in his own right. Turns out a corrupt TA was just selling answers. John was really hoping to get to blow the whistle himself and that this article would get himself recognized by the school paper. Damian says you don't have to be recognized by the school paper, they literally just take anyone. Of course, now that they are done with this little distraction, they finally get to hit the streets and start patrolling as Robin and Superboy. Tonight they're doing Metropolis because John has to be home for dinner. And also because Alfred has taken away Damian's car privileges, that means Superboy essentially has to be Robin's ride for the night. As the boys quickly discover, though, fighting crime in Metropolis at night is very different as opposed to fighting crime at night in Gotham. Mainly, there isn't that much crime to go around. In fact, the boys will end up spending the bulk of their night helping a single mother take groceries up to the 52nd floor of her apartment because, of course they live on floor 52, right? John is more than happy to help a frontline worker, a real American hero, if you will, and Damian does it because he gets a tip out of it, which John is naturally upset about, saying that his family is already rich. But, the Waynes didn't get rich by giving money away. Well, that is, of course, if you don't count all the philanthropy they do. Of course, if John really is angry with his friend Damian, maybe he could always write a hard-hitting expose on him in his next school paper assignment. The night isn't totally without its own dangers, though, as a mysterious old woman in a cloak ends up approaching the two boys from the darkness. She seems to know who the Super Sons are, but before she can actually get out what it is she's trying to say, she ends up, well, exploding. And so that was Challenge of the Super Sons issue number 1, everybody, and if you like the Super Sons and you miss John being a plucky kid who had to grow up and grow into his powers, and you miss Damian being his dark and dour comedic foil who perhaps himself also learned to be a better person through his friendship with John, then well, you're gonna love Challenge of the Super Sons because it's basically more of the same from Tomasi. And if you don't love those things, then this brand new digital issue probably isn't going to do a lot to win you over. In fact, if you've never read anything about the Super Sons before, I would actually dare say this may be a bad place to start, as this book pretty much assumes you're already a super fan, no pun intended, who knows everything that's already going on and how their relationship dynamic works. I've been holding a real torch for all these DC digital series, and I'm so glad to see the Super Sons return in this form that's a little bit more easygoing and a little bit more outside continuity because they are genuinely perfectly suited for it. Tomasi doesn't miss a beat in the writers department. I'm really glad he got to come back to this series, considering that so much of what people like about it sprung directly from his mind, and Gaynor'S art is pretty solid too, capturing that youthful exuberance that we've all come to know and love from this series. I'd give it an 8 out of 10, real solid start.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.